I'm Jaina Basonko, and this is QTV News coming to you live from our studios on Kayaba Avenue. Thanks for joining us. And here are the main local, international and sports news headlines. President Barrow on Thursday received at State House Donald Brown, the Vice President of the International Fund for Agricultural Development, followed by the swearing-in of 3 permanent secretaries. IT and office equipment worth over $1 million was donated to the Gambia government through the Ministry of Foreign Affairs by the Egyptian ambassador to the Gambia to support Gambia's hosting of the OIC summit. The Rwandan community in the Gambia, together with their ambassador, have commemorated the 28th anniversary of the Rwandan genocide against the Tutsi, during which over 1 million are reported to have been killed in 100 days. And in international news, in its National Situational Report to the ECOWAS Parliament 2022 First Ordinary Session, the Gambia's delegation on Thursday told the Community Parliament the country has made positive gains in restoring democracy and civil liberties. And in sports news, the Gambia national team lost 1-0 to the Gambia's African Nations Championship team in a friendly played at the Independence Stadium on Thursday. Those were the main headlines, and now the news in detail. Do stay with us. Thank you for joining us. I am Jaina Basonko and you're watching QTV News. Now, following a closed-door meeting with the President on Thursday, the International Fund for Agricultural Development Vice President Donald Brown promised more collaboration and support to help Gambia attain food self-sufficiency. The President also presided over the swearing-in of 3 permanent secretaries on the same day. And Sumana Isonyasi has the rest of that story.
Accompanied by the Minister for Agriculture, the IFAD Associate Vice President Donald Brown is in the country to meet authorities and communities who benefited from IFAD projects over the years. The aim is to gather first-hand information on the progress of IFAD projects with a view to exploring possible collaborations to minimize the combined effects of the COVID-19 pandemic, climate change and the ongoing conflict in Ukraine. He said his meeting with the President was fruitful and pledged IFAD's continuous support to the Gambia, especially in its drive to attaining food self-sufficiency.
We've had a long-standing partnership with the Gambia for many, many years, investing in agriculture, particularly smallholder agriculture, working with the government, providing resources to the government to improve agriculture in the Gambia. And we've been discussing our future plans and the progress on the current projects with the President and with the Honourable Minister.
IFAD has been in the Gambia since 1982 and has implemented at least 11 rural development programs and projects for an investment of $113 million, directly benefiting over 195,000 households in the Gambia. Vice President Brown promises more support for the Gambia.
Following the meeting with the President, I will be going out with the Honourable Minister and his team to go and see some of the work in the field.
Demba Savali, the Minister for Agriculture, said government is happy to collaborate with IFAD and revealed some of the matters discussed with the IFAD Vice President, adding that President Barrow remains committed to supporting the Gambia's farming community.
Discuss about fertilizer. It's been a topic in the country of recent. We don't have enough, and we've talked to them to help us in that aspect. We've also discussed issues of revamping Jahali Pachar as we have it today. Most of the farmers in Jahali Pachar are individuals and they are smallholder farmers. The only way this country can be food self-sufficient is to have serious land policy on agriculture and also to have land developed by the country. Then we can invite foreign investors, people with capital, then people with the capacity to do mechanization. And we've discussed those issues, and the project that is the flagship project that they are sponsoring, which is a Roots project, is already working in that direction.
In another engagement, President Barrow presided over the swearing-in ceremony of 3 permanent secretaries who all took their oaths of office before Thursday's cabinet meeting. They are Yankuba Sedi, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Information, Rohia Tuka, Permanent Secretary to Public Service, and Ilo Jalo, Deputy Secretary to the Cabinet. Answana Sonyasi for QTV News.
Now, the Egyptian ambassador to the Gambia on Wednesday donated IT and office equipment worth over $1 million to the Gambia government through the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, International Cooperation and Gambians Abroad to support Gambia's hosting of the OIC summit. Omar P. Jallo witnessed the ceremony and fastened this report.
The donated equipment were handed over to the Foreign Affairs Minister, Dr. Mamadou Tangara, at a ceremony held at the new Foreign Ministry complex in Banjul, who also further handed it to the Chief Executive Officer of the Gambia OIC Secretariat, Yankuba Diba. At the handing over, the Egyptian ambassador to the Gambia, Her Excellency Ambassador Noha Eker, said the equipment were purchased by the Egyptian Agency of Partnership for Development, EAPD, and hoped the items presented will help the OIC Secretariat efforts to host the OIC Summit.
We are very, very pleased to know that the summit will be held here, and we are doing our utmost to help in the success and achievement of this important summit. Our gift today is some IT equipment, and this is one step in all the accompanying steps that we are doing with our sister country in order to achieve the success of this big event and important event.
Receiving the donated items, the Chief Executive Officer of the Gambia OIC Secretariat, Yankuba Diba, said the equipment will contribute significantly to the Gambia's successful hosting of the 15th OIC Summit in the Gambia, adding that the donation will alleviate some of the IT equipment constraints and further help the OIC Gambia Secretariat serve its mandate efficiently.
The ambassador calls it a small gift, but for us, nothing is small. Every little helps. Just by way of background, late last year in November, we made a visit to Egypt, to the Foreign Ministry, to present a request for support towards the hosting of the 15th OIC Summit to be held in the Gambia. And we are delighted that the response has come so soon. We want to register our deepest appreciation to the Arab Republic of Egypt for this kind gesture. We thank you, and as I said again, nothing is small, and we hope this is the first step in our journey towards the hosting of the summit. We look forward to receiving more assistance as we discussed and as we presented to you.
The Foreign Affairs Minister, Dr. Mamadou Tangara, said the IT hardware and software will strengthen the OIC preparatory efforts and use the opportunity to convey President Barrow's appreciation to President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi and the people of Egypt.
So we want to register our appreciation, our gratitude to the President of the Arab Republic of Egypt on behalf of His Excellency the President, the government, and on our own behalf as board members and on behalf of the whole board for this very important gesture. And I know this is just one of many that will come because the ambassador has promised that. So we look forward to working together with you in organizing a successful summit, and we know we can count on Egypt.
The Egyptian ambassador expressed her country's keenness to boost relations with the Gambia in all fields, especially in infrastructure, technical assistance and training, and gave an assurance that Egypt will continue to support the Gambia's socio-economic development. Reporting for QTV News, I am Omar P. Jallo.
The Rwandan community in the Gambia, together with their ambassador, have commemorated the 28th anniversary of the Rwandan genocide against the Tutsi, during which over 1 million are reported to have been killed in 100 days. As Mamadou Lamin Choi reports, a survivor of the genocide narrates her ordeal.
In April 1994, Rwanda erupted into violent tribal conflict that has been described as the greatest armed conflict after the Second World War. In a slaughtering spree that lasted for 100 days, an estimated number of over 1 million people are reported to have lost their lives in the conflict. The deadly conflict was between two tribes, the Tutsi and Hutus. Tension between these two tribes had brewed for long since colonial time. Most of the perpetrators were Hutus, while the largest share of the casualties were Tutsi. The Hutus formed the majority of the population, while the Tutsi were the minority. During the colonial period, the Tutsi enjoyed better jobs and educational opportunities than their neighbors. After independence from Belgium in 1962, the Hutus assumed power, and for the subsequent decades of their rule, portrayed the Tutsi as the scapegoat for every crisis and subjected them to any harsh form of discrimination. However, what appeared to be the final straw was when, on April 6, 1994, an airplane carrying the Rwandan president Juvenal Habyarimana and Burundi president Cyprien Hajarimana, both Hutus, were shot down in a rocket attack, killing both. A brutal plan of action was drafted by the Hutu government, including military officials. Subsequently, a brutal plan of action was drafted by the Hutu government, including military officials, the police, politicians and businessmen, who mobilized the civilian population, particularly the Hutus, through radio propaganda to form militias. Within hours, recruits were dispatched all over the country to carry out a wave of slaughter against the Tutsis. The Rwandan community in the Gambia commemorated the genocide with a victim survivor of the genocide named Angelique Kanimba. Angelique, a Tutsi, lost her father in the early period of the 1994 Rwanda genocide. Despite thousands having been killed in a day and family calls for her father to take refuge from the war, he would not quit from his revolutionary fight and was killed. At the age of 14, Angelique and her siblings were left with her mother. Angelique's mother could not stand the trauma following the killing of her husband. After several attempts to survive with her children, Angelique's mother succumbed to the perpetrators of genocide.
With all things, one that broke me down is the death that my mother died because they raped her before they killed her. They put a spear through her. It couldn't go out of the brain, so it came out of the chest.
Having had both her parents murdered in the war, Angelique, being the oldest, together with her siblings, became homeless but would fight on for survival through the support of strong men. Suddenly, reports were received that the Rwandan Patriotic Front, backed by the Tutsis fighters, had taken over Kigali. Many, Angelique included, rushed to reach Kigali for safety, but would face a military ambush. While some were shot dead, others were thrown into the river alive, saying that they were being sent back to Ethiopia, from where the Hutus believe the Tutsis originate.
By that time as well, I survived. Since that day, I said, I'll never die. People said, this kid is crazy. But when you have an ambition, all in all, God goes with you.
The war ended after 100 days of the killing spree, when the Tutsi-dominated rebel movement, the Rwandan Patriotic Front, led by Paul Kagame, the current president of Rwanda, captured Kigali, overthrew the Hutu government, and seized power in July 1994. Since then, Rwanda has witnessed socio-economic transformation that is widely admired across Africa and the world. In solidarity with the Rwandan community in the Gambia, Gambians, including officials from the government, namely the Minister of Interior, the Chair of the Human Rights Commission, and the PS2 of the Foreign Affairs Ministry, the Ambassador of Rwanda to Senegal, covering Mali, Cape Verde, Guinea-Bissau, and the Gambia, attended and spoke of the horrific atrocities of the genocide and how the international community watched without doing anything to prevent the genocide. Mohamed Lamin Choi, QTV News.
Now, this reminds us of the need to say no to negative comments on tribal grounds. Now, we'll go for a short commercial break, and when we come back, we have some more local news stories as well as international. Do stay tuned.
GRA, in partnership with the African Development Bank through its support for economic and financial governance TREE project to strengthen the domestic revenue mobilization for the Gambia, will on Monday, June 20th, launch the state-of-the-art ICT platform called Asikuda Wall, replacing the existing Asikuda Plus Plus by the Honorable Minister of Finance and Economic Affairs at the Revenue House in Banjul, followed by the inauguration of the GRA Revenue House Annex Office. Asikuda Wall has the following objectives: improve procedures in the customs administration, facilitate trade by shortening the turnaround for clearance, contribute to the overall customs revenue collection, promote interagency and regional cooperation, and support the provision of trade statistics for decision-making. The launching of the system will involve the go-live and the rollout of the transit module to 4 border posts: Amdalai, Farafenye, Basse and Jiboro. Stakeholders are duly notified and assured of a smooth migration without disruption.
For his kitchen, Prosper was thinking big. He therefore chose big new tiles. He then thought he'd also love a new stainless steel sink and a new mixer app. And now that we're changing the sink, we might as well buy a new kitchen counter, right?
Oh yeah, I couldn't resist.
Good old Prosper.
And yes, that's Batimat's Bati Days. Take advantage of exceptional discounts up to 70% on several product families. From June 11th to 25th, you will be splurging. Batimat, everything for construction, from foundation to finishing.
Back from that short break. If you're just tuning in, you're watching QTV News, and I am Jenna Bosonko. Still on local news, as 26 Nigerian students from the National Institute for Security Studies are in the country for a week-long study tour on climate change and conflict studies happening at the SIS Training Academy in Banjul-Linding. Loli Camara has more.
As part of ongoing reforms since 2017, the State Intelligence Services, SIS, formerly the National Intelligence Agency, High Command, highlighted some of the reforms made in the past 5 years and what the institution aims to achieve in the coming years. Usman Sow, the Director General of SIS, says since 2017 they have tasked themselves with starting the institutional operational reform process, and the institution has made progress towards achieving those set goals.
We can report that the SIS is much stronger, much organized, and better poised today than it was 5 years ago. So the institutional strengthening to have the right platform and posture to meet our national security mandate has been greatly improved over these past 5 years.
DG Sow also revealed that excesses of the past were not only cut off but totally removed for the proper functioning of the service. On the issue of arrest and detention, DG Sow revealed that there has not been any from 2017 to date. Notwithstanding, the institution continues to strengthen its efforts in ensuring that Gambians gain that confidence in them.
We don't miss the handcuffs. So we are no more, and Mosai report that in these past 5 years, we have not arrested, nor has the SIS detained anybody across the country. And again, this has not made us lesser busy. I think we are much busier with our focus on our core mandate of information collection, analysis, and dissemination across all specters and spheres of activity.
Inasmuch as there are successes registered, there were challenges, as DG Sow explains.
The cyber, the IT, it provides a lot of opportunities for us in this day and age, but it also poses a lot of challenges, from cyberbullying to inciting of hate speech, etc., etc. So how do we manage all this? And all of us, I think, have a stake in seeing that we harness the big opportunities, the advantageous opportunities that the cyberspace provides, but also avoid, manage, prevent, and discourage the abuse of cyberspace.
Director Sow thanked the government and Gambians for their continuous support and collaboration, which he said has improved. Policy and laws which are under review at the SIS include the Code of Conduct, Selection and Recruitment Policy, Training Policy, amongst others, are at an advanced stage. According to Lamin Jadama, the Director of Reforms, Reorientation and Legal Affairs. For QTV News, Loli M. Camara.
Now from that story by Loli M. Camara, let's take a look at news beyond our borders. In its National Situational Report to the ECOWAS Parliament 2022 First Ordinary Session, the Gambia's delegation, led by Honorable Billy G. Tunkara, on Thursday told the Community Parliament the country has made positive gains in restoring democracy and civil liberties. As Aliou Cissé reports from Abuja, the report also updated the Community Parliament on the Gambia's white paper, which is the TRRC.
The Gambia's report to the ECOWAS Parliament covers a range of issues, including the political, economic, security and human rights situation of the country, legal reforms and ratifications, as well as implementation of protocols, among others. The Gambia's delegation comprised Honorable Bilaji Tungara as head of delegation, Honorable Alaji S. Dabo, Honorable Keba K. Barrow, Honorable Samba Jallo, and Honorable Fatima Tanjai as members. Honorable Tungara reported that the National Human Rights Commission of the Gambia continues to take concrete steps towards laying a solid foundation for the respect, protection, and enjoyment of fundamental human rights and freedoms in the country for all. On security, he informed his colleagues that the country remains stable with an ongoing security sector reform, although there are ongoing security concerns linked to transnational actors in and outside the Gambia.
These include the conflicts in the neighboring Casamas region. As recently as November 2021, the main Casamas rebel faction, MFDC, reported threatening the Gambia with an attack if the country supports the Senegalese government's efforts to annihilate their operations in the region.
He renewed the Gambia's continued commitment to the ideals of the ECOWAS protocols and programs for the development of the sub-region, as he updated ECOWAS parliamentarians on the current state of the Truth, Reconciliation and Reparations Commission, which was instituted to look into the human rights violations committed under former President Jammeh.
The government is committed to prosecuting former President Jammeh and his accomplices, and is currently working with the stakeholders both within and outside the country to effect the prosecution.
The government of the Gambia, through its various development policies and strategies, is determined to address unemployment and illegal migration, promote gender equality, energy and agriculture, and address climate change. Honorable Alexander Kwameni Afenyo-Makin, head of the Ghanaian delegation, in his report said the political and security situation in Ghana has been relatively calm despite some incidents of national security concern, such as the chieftaincy disputes and ethnic conflicts, among others. Chuma Ikuzu Linda, a member of the Nigeria's delegation, explains that Nigeria has enjoyed a relatively stable political environment. This is despite the overwhelming impact of global events and insecurity on the socio-political space.
We are working, the government is working on making sure that we take over our country from both terrorists, bandits, and criminals.
In 2021, Nigeria remitted over $74 million to the ECOWAS Commission in fulfillment of its financial obligations. As in the Gambia, 5 gender equality bills put before National Assembly of Nigeria were rejected. The bills include additional seats for women in the legislature, citizenship by registration for non-Nigerians married to Nigerian women, 35% affirmative action for women in political party administration, and reserved quota for women in cabinet. Other countries such as Togo, Benin, Niger, and Cote d'Ivoire also presented their country reports to the Community Parliament. Members debated the reports before adoption. Reporting for QTV News from Abuja, Nigeria, I am Aliou Cissé.
From that story from Aliou Cissé, let's take a look at what is happening in the world of sports. The Gambia national team lost 1-0 to the country's African Nations Championship team in a friendly played at the Independence Stadium on Thursday. Supporters of the national team had the chance to watch their favorite players at home for the first time since their AFCON exploits. Momoto Kacheka watched the game and fastened this report.
Those national team players on holiday, plus some Gambian players playing in the Senegalese League, combined for the friendly against the Chan team, preparing for the Chan qualifiers against Guinea-Bissau, scheduled for late July. The Chan team won 1-0 after left-back Modou Mane scored in the second half. The team were more competitive, faster, and seemed to have more of an eye for goal. As for the Scorpions selection, there was a lot of possession and source of individual brilliance than the team play. Play was disrupted twice, with a fan invading the pitch on both occasions to take a selfie with Musa Barrow. Once the whistle went at full time, fans stormed the pitch, seizing this rare opportunity to take pictures with the Scorpions. The players appeared to appreciate the show of love from the fans. This is how team captain Omar Colley, midfielders Abdoulaye Jallow and Abdoulaye Sanyang reacted to the support of the fans.
It's amazing, first of all. I mean, I wasn't even expecting like 50 supporters. Moreover, I don't know, it's over hundreds, but you know, it's really exciting. You know, it's really exciting, especially after the AFCON, you know, to come back home and play in front of the supporters. It's a great feeling. You know, I wish, you know, we could have played our last game here, but you know, due to circumstances, we all know. But yeah, let's hope in the future that, you know, we get the home support again.
Yeah, everybody feel happy to come to the Gambia, you know, to come back to see the fans, you know. We are very happy to be here, you know. That's why we came to play the test match for the fans, you know.
Yeah. So we are thanking them for that because we saw the love they have for us. So we are thanking them for that.
Bakary Kinte, one of the supporters who had a selfie with the players, reflected on the moment. I am used to watching them on TV, so coming here today to watch them live gives me joy. Also, having the chance to take pictures with them made me happy. The African Nations Championship CHAN is a tournament for National Association football teams organized every 2 years by the Confederation of African Football (CAF), which was first announced on 11 September 2007. Only players in the domestic championship of their country of origin are eligible to compete. League seasons have ended across most parts of Europe. Some players are taking time off to enjoy their break, and some Gambian national team players prefer spending their break in their home country. Mamadou Gajaga, QTV News.
Now, congratulations to the CHAN team. That is all we have for you in this edition of QTV News. Join us at 10 p.m. for more news. Thanks for watching and bye for now.